This is Things You Might Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm ready to present for you yesterday's latest information, politics, current events, and pop culture. We are going to provide for you as your go-to supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional news, stories that you may have missed, stories you may have picked up on, but added context to all the stories we have to you. If you're watching the video, you're seeing the teaser graphic from yesterday, which was the story from yesterday, based on the Cosby Show and the interview by Keshia Pulliam. That is in the news, and we're going to get to that pretty quickly today. But 8 other stories to get to from yesterday's big news. Now, you had a chance to help us pick it out. You vetted the news stories as conversational. We picked out the ones that were best for the narrative. You can find more details about how that works out. We'll explain that in a bit, but go to our website. This is a conversationproject.com for more details on how we do everything every single day, giving you this thing here plus other things throughout the weekend and shows and videos and news pops here and there. So let's get into the news for today. Today happens to be Tuesday, November the 14th, 2023. We got the graphic right today. That's awesome. And we're going to get you 8 stories for today that were actually big stories from yesterday. Let's get into the news for right now. 8 stories curated by, or vetted by you, I should say, then curated by me for this cast. First story, first headline of the morning starts off with a volcano in southwest Iceland expected to erupt in the next few days. This was the top story of the day by leaps and bounds. More people are engaged in this one as we've been watching this volcano for weeks. Not very long for weeks, because essentially once it started to have its activity, lots of mini earthquakes, lots of things going on. They're expecting this thing to go off like literally any moment. As they're looking at days, or if not hours, of this thing going off. No word of it being active as of Tuesday morning, but since Monday night, they've been really expecting this thing to be a big blast coming very soon. Iceland Civil Protection Agency declared a state of emergency on Friday, to be exact, because of so many people living near it. At 330,000 residents near the volcano directly, and what else is out there. In fact, big news about this is the famous Blue Lagoon, which is, of course, a tourist destination near Grindavik, has been closed since middle October, essentially, because of the worries, and will be closed at least until the end of this week because of what they're expecting to happen. Now, the teaser story from yesterday is the number 2 story we're presenting here. Not number 2 necessarily in the numbers wise, but the second story presented for this morning. It is Keshia Pulliam says Cosby Show was bigger than one person. The Cosby Show was lauded as depicting an upper middle class black American family rich in love, integrity, and laughter, but its namesake star Bill Cosby has been embroiled in controversy. We really don't have to go deep into the controversy because it's kind of obvious what's been happening to Bill Cosby. However, his character, Cliff Huxtable, as the patriarch of the Huxtable family, is an icon to many, and as I said earlier, and many things throughout the day. Essentially, America's dad, one of the first America's dads that I've known in my lifetime to be one of those things. Not Ozzie and Harriet, not the Ward Cleaver, but Heathcliff Huxtable. Keshia Pulliam played Ella Grace, who they called Rudy, at the age of 5 on the show, and oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Her daughter Ella Grace is 5 and is learning the show and the same lesson that Rudy Huxtable got from the lesson. Apologies, because the robot editor pulled that weird nugget right there. But Keshia Pulliam is definitely saying that the show itself is worth keeping up with, worth living up to its legacy, especially as it reaches its 40th anniversary. So even though Bill Cosby may have some issues, the Cosby Show, as a nugget of history on its own, should live on and should get all of its proper flowers. We'll see how that plays out. Most likely it will play out that way while they try to talk around the Bill Cosby issues. Rumor, we left that in the headline. Marvel Studios likely moving away from original Kang storyline. This rumor has been rumor for quite some time. In fact, it's not really so much a rumor. In fact, it's more or less playing stuff out in pieces online and pieces in the actual movies and television shows we're watching. We're not sure, because no one's saying it out loud, whether the Kang issue was the reason why the ending for Loki worked itself out. Not going to give you the spoiler there, but they did say fairly early on that Kang was wiped out of the actual storyline, or the Kang character was wiped out of the storyline for the Loki show, even though both Victor Timely, a variant of Kang, and of course He Who Remains came back as a pivotal part of the show. No spoilers there to give you that going on. Also, the Marvels came out this week, which also brought another branch of possibilities of how to play out the multiverse and all those things going forward. And lots of rumors are coming out that Doctor Doom is going to come in and save the day. oddly enough, because Doctor Doom, even though he's one of Marvel's most biggest baddies, often comes in and saves the day because he's destined to do that, even though he rules with an iron fist. We'll see how the Marvel Cinematic Universe bounces back and whether Jonathan Majors does stick around for his Kang dynasty and legacy. Right now, we're hearing that people are being pulled off the movies that have Kang's name in them because they're going somewhere else. We shall see. Euphoria producer Kevin Turen dead at 44. Kevin Turen, the producer who worked with Malcolm and Waters, Waves, and HBO's Euphoria, has died at 44. Sorry about that. His father, Edwin Turen, confirmed the sudden passing of Deadline, and his close friend Jay Penske remembered his producer's legacy. Friends and colleagues pay tribute to him and what's going on as they lose a good friend and a great producer. Now, this is the second person attached to the show to die in this year, so we're not going to do the whole curse thing, but we are going to mourn the loss of the producer for Euphoria, Kevin Turen, at the age of 44. Very, very young. Fans crash website after Taylor Swift's Christmas gifts released. Taylor Swift store, she had a store online, and went down after an hour when new Christmas merchandise dropped, and it they just couldn't handle the Swifties, just could not take it. 9% of Americans plan to buy a Taylor Swift Americans related gift. That's what the notes say. 9% of Americans plan to buy a Taylor Swift related gift for Christmas. I don't understand it, but it is there, and you can find the website, which is probably back up by now, but essentially everybody trying to be a super Swiftie, because Swift is the word, even in football lanes. Get a chance to get your Taylor Swift gear by going to the website and seeing if the site will stay live going forward. We got a whole bunch of family related to presidential stuff come on to wrap things up. Starting off with this story, which is a very scary story. Secret Service agents protecting Biden's granddaughter opened fire when 3 people tried to break into SUV. This happened about a day or so ago in Georgetown, where 3 people tried to break into an unmarked Secret Service vehicle in the nation capital. And when the agents opened fire on them, no one was hit. It was all done fairly quickly, if you will. But these are the agents that are basically keeping an eye on Joe Biden's granddaughter, Naomi, while she's at Georgetown. Very scary thing happening. Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr. returned to testify to New York fraud trial as the defense first witness. Things went swimmingly. Actually, probably not so swimmingly, if you will, but the first time that the defense had a chance to put up someone, and they brought back up Donald Trump Jr., who had already testified once for the actual prosecution. Defense didn't want to cross-examine. They wanted to bring him on his own thing. Now, the rumor is the actual plan for the defense team is to bring up a bunch of people, randomish people, just kind of saying randomish things, and just overflood the judge with things to deal with, because we know the case has actually been basically called, because the judge has basically said, you're losing the company. It's just how many damages are being paid. So far, I can't really say it's good. Early testimony on Monday, Trump Jr. touted his family's company and said his father was a genius, saying he turned eyesores into jewels and had unusual visions around towards projects, dealing with the vision he had for the real estate that he developed in New York and many places. He also joked about himself and Eric Trump, being kind of goofy kids working around the place because his father was, such a genius thing. We'll see how this plays out as Eric Trump will take the stand and Donald Trump again taking the stand for the defense coming up. Doesn't look like Ivanka's coming back for the defense since she was cross-examined by the defense last week. And finally, we wrap up with Maryanne Trump Barry, the older sister of Donald Trump, dying at the age of 86. It's discovered in her Fifth Avenue apartment about 4 a.m. yesterday. No signs of foul play or trauma, just she happened to be a older person. Barry was a senior judge in U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit until she retired in 2019, so she had her own propers going forward. The relationship between the former president and his older sister was strained, as many of them are, but they've been working to fix it since he left the presidency. Basically, when he became president, many of his family members were kind of like, Donald's not the guy. Now that he's no longer president, although he's running again, that was being fixed. The really sort of thing that kind of pegged this thing out as a big issue is the really, and I'm just say crass and just awful response on Twitter, X, you want to call it that, where people had thrown out the hashtag wrong Trump. We're just going to say that. We're going to let that be. You can marinate that as you want to, but this is not the time for these sort of things to be going forward. Seriously. we are sending all the love we can to the Trump family, the Barry family, if you will, as well, for the passing of this person. And we're just going to pray for our own Donald Trump issues to be resolved in peaceful manners, not those peaceful manners. Thank you. Let's go to the errors, apologies, and admissions section. We're going to not talk about, but we'll maybe bring it back again, the trial of the high-end brothel network, as two people accused of running this brothel network in Massachusetts and Virginia are appearing in court. Around D.C. and around Boston is where this big ring of high-end escorts was run by people with lots of power, lots of money, lots of go in the lifestyle of our world, if you will. Two of them stood trial or went before officials to court the other day. You can find the link and go deeper into that one as this thing develops. We'll go deeper into the story as well. Let's go now to our teaser story for today, which is a story we can chat up on tomorrow. This may not get as much love, as much cultural existence as yesterday's talking about the Cosby Show, but it's Brad Pitt and it's dating, so you never know. Brad Pitt calls Ines Ramon his girlfriend, says makes him very happy. Exclusive source. So you know how those things work with exclusive sources, but we have a source saying that Brad Pitt has a girlfriend. It is Ines D. Ramon. I don't know who she is. I know who he is. I know you people care about these things way too much. So it's a teaser story for tomorrow. If you want to chat it up, it's already out there. Go to our feeds and engage. Simple. Go to facebook.com/thisisconversationproject, on twitter.com/th_conversation, or x.com if you will, and just engage in the story. You see it in your feed. We post these in our news feeds every 50 minutes, a new news story. You just see it in the feed, look at it, engage in it, like it, love it, hate it, share it, and voila, Viola, we will talk about it, more or less. Top 15 stories of the day get shot to go into the 8 stories you choose for this thing here for your Wednesday, and it's that simple. So check it out. If you want to talk Brad Pitt's love life, and you guys usually want to talk Brad Pitt's love life, vote it up, engage, we got you covered. We also have you covered literally for your breathing and your mouth, with today's sponsor being Hostage Tape. It's the strongest, most comfortable mouth tape out there on the planet. What is mouth tape? It is tape for your mouth. Instead of trying to put band-aids on your nose or ace bandages wrapped around your head, get some of this sticky mouth tape that goes right over your lips and keeps you from breathing out of your mouth. Why is that an issue? Because your mouth was made for talking, for eating, for digesting. Well, technically your digestive system there, but you get the point. Your mouth is not actually meant for breathing. Believe it or not, the holes in your face that's above your mouth, your nose, is where your circular system works out. Yes, your mouth is connected because you can exhale, but your nose is what's meant to do all the work. And so when you're in situations where your mouth is doing more work than it should, such as at night when you're sleeping and snoring, or when you're out exercising and you should be actually being efficiently breathing through your nose, this mouth tape can help you out. Check it out at this. It's theconversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is theconversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is a affiliate link. So if you click on the link and buy from our link, you help us out by getting a commission from your purchase, just like that. Check it out. You may think it's silly. You may think it looks kind of a joke. You may think, hostage tape? What the hell is hostage tape? Just go check it out and see if this is something that can help you in your life, because you'd be surprised how these things we offer up are so great for you in your life. Let's talk about something that's great for us in my life, and it's the Conversation Project. It keeps me busy, keeps my mind going, it keeps me into the news business, even now that I'm not, a salaried member of the news business anymore. But it keeps me in the news and keeps you and I having conversations about better news stories, because sometimes those paid news people aren't quite getting it right. Here it is at the Conversation, or the Conversation Project, at this is theconversationproject.com, where you can visit us and find all the things we do every single day. You can also email me at theconversationinbox@gmail.com for things you want me to fix, things you want me to keep, feedback back and forth. The best feedback, the greatest feedback, the simplest feedback is to follow us on the feeds on Facebook and Twitter, because that tells us what to talk about literally every single day for this program. We do this Monday through Friday in this form live, starting up at 5:50 in the morning, and we do the weekend shows and the drops every day inside the videos to kind of give you a chance to conversate. If you think we're worthy of great stuff, go to our partnerships page. This is conversationproject.com/partnerships and partner up with us. Maybe there's something there we can do together to help do things better. I appreciate it. We thank you in advance for any help, but we're telling you right now, the best thing you can do is the free stuff. Follow us in the feeds, engage with us in our email. We'll get it done. We promise. Now, let's get the fun stuff out of the way. Fun stuff for this morning, and fun stuff as always begins on your birthdays, and we do that. We do that. We have birthdays for November the 14th. Birthday we're celebrating is Charles III. That is the former Prince Charles. Charles III is the King of England. He is 75 years old on the day, and it took him a while to get there, but that's because his mother reigned from her middle 20s to her 80s. So, yeah, that is kind of a deal, or 90s, I guess, if Charles is 75. So we are missing the Queen. We are getting to learn to love the King, as Charles III is now running the show in England and doing things differently, trying to be more progressive, if you will, make the monarchy something that's worthy of the times, and to be honest, in my words, a little less crazy racist, which is always a good thing. Today in history, going back to 2020, way back to 2020, you may remember this. The U.S. Electoral College voted 306 to 232 to officially affirm Joe Biden's presidential election victory. Today was the day that happened. The votes were in, at least the electoral votes were in, and Joe Biden became the actual president of the United States. And that's kind of when all the trouble seemed to happen, apparently. We'll see what happens in about, definitely in 12 months, in less than 365 days, as we have a next election coming up, essentially a year minus a week from now. And today we're going to celebrate World Diabetes Day. World Diabetes Day is something that my daughter, who learned that there was a day of the year calendar out there online, and spent about 3 hours just reading days of the year, because that's what 11-year-olds do. Pope picked this out yesterday, so I went ahead with her choice to go with it, because I guess she's an executive producer now. 1 in 10 adults worldwide have diabetes. Over 90% have type 2 diabetes, which I actually do have as well. Close to half of those are not yet diagnosed. In many cases, type 2 diabetes and its complications can be delayed or prevented by adopting and maintaining healthy habits. Knowing your risk and what to do is important to support prevention and early diagnosis and timely treatment. Diabetes is extremely treatable. Type 1 diabetes, known as childhood diabetes, what people live with on their life, is treatable and extremely livable. Type 2 diabetes is extremely treatable, extremely viable for people to live healthy lives going through that. You just need to know what you have and basically maintain your health matters on that ends. Keep away from certain things. It's not just, don't eat candy. It's a bit more complicated than that. But today is a day to go to worlddiabetesday.org, or just talk to your doctor if they say things like you're pre-diabetic, you're having issues with sugar or tiredness, things like that, and see if that's the issue. Diabetes is something that is extremely manageable, so you can manage it. Seriously, take some time and get together and manage it. In the meantime, we're going to take the time to step away from the show today, because we are done. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. I thank you profusely for being with us for the show. I want to make sure you stop by our feeds every single morning, because we do it 24 hours a day. It gives us the stuff to talk about every single day in this program and in our weekend programs as well. And of course, we want you to email us to tell us what we can do to fix things going around all over the place. The most important thing you can do, actually those two things, the most important things you do. One important thing you can also do is stop by our partnerships page and just see if there's something we can do together. You want to support us with monetarily, but don't want to have any actual skin in the game, go to our sponsors, buy something from them. They're affiliates. We get cuts from that, just like that. Make sure you're staying limber and hydrated and on task for all the grand things you are here on the planet to do, and just be you. Love you, mean it. We're going to do this again tomorrow. A little less flustered, I think. Having some little, the thing that kept me from doing the show last week happened again. So we're gonna go check on my diabetes and some of my internals, and have a better Wednesday. You have a great Tuesday. We'll see what's going to be. I'm going to call it right now. Great Wednesday to come.